Hi, I'm Peter.
And I'm Ketmia.
Welcome to the This and That Chat.
Happy Father's Day.
You got me working on Father's Day.
Yes, I do. And now we just gave it away that we are recording live on Father's Day.
Well, I put a post yesterday saying that we were going to record today.
Oh, you did? I don't know because I'm not on Instagram anymore. So I miss out on all those things. Miss out.
I showed off our new Baby Yoda cups.
Yes.
Should we tell the story about what happened?
I was just going to say that. So yesterday, I'll start and you finish. Okay. Yesterday, we were going out to get decorations for 4th of July. And you asked me, like, I know that a lot of women are going to get this when they hear this, right? But you asked me, do you want to go to Walmart or Hobby Lobby? That's like saying, do I want to go to the youth fair or to Disney World? Now, the youth fair is giving Walmart way too much credit.
But you couldn't make a decision.
Do you want to go to the dollar store or Disney World? Well, that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about the decision. The point is, I decided to go to the happiest place on earth, which is
Hobby Lobby.
Hobby Lobby. So we drive up to Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby's like 20-something minutes away from our house. And all the while, I am thinking in my head, it doesn't really matter if they don't have 4th of July decorations. I get to breathe the air at Hobby Lobby. There are 2 gift cards that a person can give me at any time, and they're going to be the best gift cards ever. Amazon, Hobby Lobby. That's all I want gift cards for. I can buy myself the best presents on there. And so we go there, and I don't ever remember going to Hobby Lobby with you. You, I think, have a memory of that. I would remember. Okay.
We've been there.
I don't think we've been there. I think you were there because you were applying there at some point.
We've been there.
Well, I don't remember it, but all I know is that I walked in, I breathed the air, and
my wallet
it was
said,
magical.
Ah!
You breathed the air too, because you were like, oh, I have to have everything.
Yes, and my wallet was screaming the entire time, get out, get out.
But, I mean, not only did we find what we needed, we found things that we didn't know we needed. Isn't that the best?
No, that's horrible. Anyways,
and so then, as we're leaving,
a full shopping cart later,
we're trying to get out, right? You even said, close your eyes and go to the front.
Yeah. A full shopping cart later, we're walking away from a frame area section that we were picking something up from. And I was like, okay, that's it. We're leaving. Close your eyes, straight to the register. Let's go. I turn the corner, and they have a Mandalorian section with all the little stuff. And they had these 2 amazing coffee cups.
The dark side and the light side.
That were just sitting on the shelf. And I picked them up to look at them, flipped them over. They were $13 each. And I was like,
some bitch. Are we allowed to say that?
I guess, yeah. Beep.
Oops.
Those were my exact words. And I was
while
like,
you're debating and thinking,
I'm like, I have one arm extended towards the shelf to put it back, and one still holding in my hand, and I'm like, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And Ketmia's alarm goes off, and as soon as her alarm goes off, we look at each other, and you'll know why here in just a second. She's trying to get it going.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're trying to get it going, and it's not happening.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not happening.
No?
Apparently not. Apparently, it's got to be like.
Anyways, so if it comes up,
yeah,
it's the Mandalorian theme song.
Correct.
And we look at each other. Okay, and we're like, it's a sign. There you go.
Perfectly,
It
like
was-
yesterday.
It was perfect. That's exactly how it happened. Okay? And I was like, we got to take it. And so we put it in the cup. We put it in the cup. We put it in the cart. And we're walking to the front with extra stuff in the cart than we needed. But we had coffee in it last night.
And it tasted better.
It tasted better. It absolutely tasted better. And we're having coffee right now as we are speaking to you with our Mandalorian cups. And I think those are going to be our new favorite cups for a while.
Yeah, it depends on the mood. And I don't know why you gave me the dark side. Are you like the knight in shining armor and I'm like the villain? Yesterday we talked about that. If there were no consequences in the world, would we choose to be the heroes or the villains? And we're not answering that question.
Okay, we won't.
People can just wonder what we would have chosen.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're actually here to celebrate Dad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's nice to be doing this on Father's Day, you know, because by the time everybody hears this episode, you will have celebrated Father's Day. And I wonder, you know, what celebration for Father's Day actually looks like for, you know, the people listening to us, because my dad has always said almost every single year, why is it that for Mother's Day, you guys make such a big deal? I don't know if everyone remembers, but I'm the oldest of 8 kids, right? And it's like this really big deal for Mother's Day. And Dad always feels left out. You know, and then I'm even looking at you, for example, today, right? Yesterday, you decided to take me on a shopping trip for me. And it's like, it's Father's Day. You should be shopping for you. And that's not how it went.
I ended up getting the short end of the stick.
Yeah, you make your own stick. Have you ever thought about that? And then today you're cooking. I don't ever cook on Mother's Day.
And I cooked yesterday.
You cooked breakfast. You're cooking us dinner. I think you enjoy that. I think Mother's Day and Father's Day has to be whatever it is that you enjoy.
Well, what did the kids get me?
Awesome stuff. What did they get you?
A meat probe thermometer.
A probe.
Yes. with
A
a
fancy-
Wi-Fi thingamajigger,
I mean,
which I'm actually looking at right now because I've got some pulled pork in the smoker.
do you ever post any of the stuff on the chat? Like any of the stuff you smoke?
I haven't put any of my cookery.
Well, but it's
that's a
Father's
word.
Day. Cookery is a word?
Cookery is a word.
Wow, we're doing words again?
Oh my goodness.
Is this like the word month?
I guess it is. This next episode.
Next, yeah,
Yes,
for sure.
This
Week we
next
have to talk
episode is
about
going to
it.
be all kinds of words.
Yes,
But cookery is a word.
So what you're saying is that
I should post some of the cooking stuff.
well, what I was saying is that because it is a word. It's British.
It's British.
It says the practice or skill of preparing and cooking food.
Yes.
Cookery.
I learned that from the master, Gordon Ramsay.
Yes, we do love Gordon Ramsay. But I'm saying since it's Father's Day, I think it's nice for you to post something, you know, about
I can post my drunken chicken from yesterday,
yeah.
which was
Amazing.
insane.
I've made drunken chicken for many years in the oven. And it's supposed to be on the grill, but you actually took it a step further and made it in the smoker.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It was insane.
So, yeah, you really enjoy that. I know you enjoy barbecuing and smoking and all that stuff. So
Oh, yeah.
do what you love on Father's Day.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole point.
Today we're doing pulled pork burgers, and not a pulled pork sandwich. No, we're talking about delicious mix meat for the burger.
So like a patty.
Burger patty on delicious on a delicious bun with special sauce, and we forgot the onion rings again.
No, that's good.
No. What is up with
This
this?
is twice that
It's
we
twice
have gone
already.
out to get stuff for burgers and we forget the onion rings.
I'm going out to get them after this.
No, you're not. Oh, my
yes,
God.
I am.
By the way,
Anyways, hold on.
No, it's so hot. Why would you want to go out?
No, because we need onion rings.
Oh
That's
my
how
gosh.
we eat burgers. Okay, so the most delicious burger with amazing cheese and the whole 9 yards.
What do you call your burgers?
Fire alarm burgers?
Yep.
But I actually have to find a different.
I think so.
I'm gonna have to differentiate.
It's graduated
Mm-hmm.
to something new.
Well, the thing is that now I have.
We have a picture of it also.
I have a couple versions. now.
Yes. So, like, I like mine patty, pulled pork, cheese, tomato, avocado, fried egg, bacon, special sauce, bun. And if that sounds like a very tall burger, it is a very tall burger. You actually have to dislocate your jaw in order to be able to bite down on that burger. True or false?
I think you need to remove the lower jaw and just put it straight in.
Babe, I think we only have one jaw. I think only the bottom part is the jaw.
Okay, Miss Anatomy.
Hello, what do you say? The top jaw. That's not the top jaw.
Oh, I said the lower jaw.
Okay.
I don't know. Whatever.
So, today for Father's Day, what stories? We told stories on Mother's Day for Mom.
Mm-hmm.
What stories shall we tell of our fathers? I told my dad that he needs to listen to this episode because I have so many stories with my dad. So many stories that it's so hard to pick from stories. I feel like I tell a story and then later on I'm like, dang it, I should have said that story.
Okay, so let's do this. If you were to have to tell a story about your dad right now, what would it be? Go.
Wow. I can't.
I
I literally got electrocuted with like 20 different stories at once.
Okay, I have mine. The one that I always love to tell.
Mm-hmm.
So this was actually after we got married.
Okay, I just got one now for after.
Okay. And so we were converting the family room at my parents' house into a kind of like an efficiency.
Yeah.
And so we were building, we put in a bathroom and we closed off a hallway and we were doing a closet. We were, creating this space there. And we did everything. We learned how to do plumbing and electricity and the whole 9 yards. It's a lot of the really good stuff that I learned how to do, which actually is helpful now that we're homeowners. And so I learned a lot in that whole process, especially growing up, because we're always doing something. And my parents bought that house like with concrete floor and sheetrock missing on the walls.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that house had a lot of work that needed to be done to it.
Oh, wow.
And so on this particular day, we're putting in the closet doors. Okay, and it's those wood doors with the little the bifold doors, the wooden ones
with the little slats.
Mm-hmm.
That if you hit it just right, all the slats come tumbling down.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So stupid.
So-
like, what a terrible design.
They're cheap. Okay.
No, it's just a terrible. Couldn't they put a little bit of glue in the little slat holes?
It would be a lot of extra work.
Wow.
Anyways, so we're there, and we had created the space for the closet. We measured it, and we put the 2x4s at that space that was going to be needed for the doors.
Okay.
But what we didn't account for was that there was going to be a 1/2-inch sheetrock wrapped around the outside of the 2x4s. So when we went to put up the doors,
You were an inch too.
we were an inch short of space.
Oh no.
It was actually less than an inch because there's always that little bit of extra space.
No, it's asleep.
Okay,
Leave me
but-
alone.
So what do? We're like, well, we've already made the space. We're not going to take down the wall. So my dad decides that we're just going to take a saw and we're going to take a little bit off of each side
That does not ever work.
so that it fits.
We were talking about an inch, so you're going to take like less than an inch. You're going to take like less than half an inch off of each side?
Yes. So it's actually, you have 4 sides that you can take from, right? Because you have the inside of the door, the outside of the door, right? All the way across. So here we go. And we zzz right down the line, take off a little bit, go try it. It doesn't work. Take off a little bit more, go try it. It doesn't work. Okay, I don't know how many times we tried this. It was more than 5 or 6 times. Okay, we're taking this thing razor thin. It's like, I don't know how much further we're gonna be able to go. And since we're taking off so little, we're pretty much just like shaving the edges, and we're using an electric saw. Okay.
Okay.
Instead of using like a planer or something to just like take a little bit off.
But you probably don't even have that tool.
No, we didn't have that tool.
That's number one thing that happens to people doing projects. You don't have the right tool.
And it wasn't a table saw. No, it was a handheld saw. So we're like trying to keep a straight line. Okay. Picture this. And we went too far.
Oh, no.
And now the door
It's too short.
is cut. No, it's cut. It's like broken. So now, yeah. So I remember looking at my dad and saying, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday.
Because you could tell.
Oh, yeah. He was turning red.
Oh, my
And
God.
I was like, I need to like take an extra couple steps back because this is not going to be good. And my dad has punched through every single slat that was on that door.
Which, to be fair, they make it super easy for you to do that.
I know, but it's just the action of the whole thing that happened.
Oh,
this
my
thing gets
goodness.
completely blown up. Okay.
I'm imagining that in slow motion right
Oh,
now.
yes. Okay. It's all over the yard. It's just everywhere. Pieces like everywhere. And I look back over to the sliding glass door my grandmother was visiting. My grandmother's like 4'2".
Poor Granny.
And she's just like, just shaking her head like,
Are you okay?
Like, what in the world is going on over there? Okay. And after that whole thing happened, my dad just calmly walks over to me and says, all right, let's go. We got to go to Home Depot. He went and bought another door. And thankfully, we found a door that was just slightly smaller than the other. And it actually fit. So
no shaving necessary.
Well, no, because we got one door smaller than the other. So one was a bigger size. So we had 2 different size doors that we put into that space. But
wow.
It worked out.
It made it work.
Yes, but I always... It was scary at the moment, but it was funny afterwards.
Yeah.
And we laughed.
I mean, afterwards, you mean like 20 years later, right?
Not that long. It took a little while. But it was funny. It was just one of those things.
It's so funny because I feel like you have similar reactions to that.
That's why it's so funny.
No, it's funny to me and to the kids. Secretly, we're dying of laughter. Outwardly, we know we can't show it.
Well, the thing is, you have to know the timing.
Yeah, I know.
You've got to let me go through the process.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
We do. And then we just sort of watch you like implode, and then it's like, okay, he'll be fine. Meanwhile, you're like, someone, look what's happening. And we're like, nah, we're not interested. My dad, as you know, is also a DIYer. I think maybe he invented the word. Or I think, who is it? Is it Lowe's? That's their catchphrase is like, do it yourself?
Isn't it Home Depot?
Oh, that's what I meant. Home Depot. Do it yourself, right?
Yes. Okay,
so, I mean, if my dad could have stock or have a membership somewhere, it's Home Depot. You know, some people have it to AAA, ARP, or some fancy clubhouse, whatever. My dad would have it at Home Depot. I think that my dad probably visited Home Depot, I don't know, 3 or 4 times on the weekend, every weekend, for as long as I can remember. Okay.
It's probably why you got a job there.
Well, actually, it was his idea.
So I should thank your dad for
You should
finding
thank
you.
my dad. You should thank my dad. It was his idea because he was sure that there was some sort of employee discount. And remember, we didn't get a discount?
Nope.
No discount.
Thank you,
And
Popsy.
And he was like, you know where you should work? You should work there. And I was the one actually who wanted to go work at Sears because I loved Sears. The Sears catalog used to come to my house.
And your dad probably would have done better there because I know Sears gave discount.
They did give a discount, but the job
And they had Craftsman tools back then.
They did, and that's all he bought. And he was at Sears a lot, actually, as well, because of that. But then the job I was going to get was commission-based, and that really turned me off.
I remember they did that.
That really turned me off, and that's why I decided to give Home Depot a try. But I don't ever remember my dad ever hiring anybody to do anything in our house, ever. Okay? I'm even talking about roof. Like the roof of our house needed to be replaced. And my dad, with no YouTube or anything, bought the stuff that he needed. And he would go up there and figure it out, you know? He was making like his own tar out there. And just tarring the roof. I don't even know if he was doing it right or not. But he always made it seem like he knew exactly what he was doing.
Listen. Dads always know exactly what they're doing, even though we don't.
And there's some truth in that. Like, I can't even really wrap my mind around it or really explain it. But you're right about that somehow. I do feel like dads have an innate knowledge of stuff. And I think they don't really know how they got it. But anyway, that's a whole other theory and science that we're not going to get into right now. But my dad was always working on something, you know, and so I think that he really wanted my brother out there, the middle brother, Isaac, because he was older, you know, and probably he wanted to teach him how to do this stuff. But nobody at all wanted to be out there but me. And I think that initially I wanted to be out there with him because I didn't want to do chores. And that was a way for me to have my dad's permission. Like, she can't do chores because she's helping me. Okay. I think initially that's what it was. But then it became like, oh my God, we would go like in-depth conversations and, like just philosophy and all this stuff. My dad is very much like me. We're both dreamers. And so we're like dreaming up things. And I would give him ideas for brand new projects before he's even done with this project. You know, like I remember me telling him that I would love if he could build us a car. Okay. Build us a car. Like, okay, so you know how kids, you can buy them the little car that they push themselves in it? The red and yellow car?
Mm-hmm. The
Tonka?
little Tonka, Tykes, little Tykes.
Little Tykes, right? Everybody knows that little thing. Well, I wanted to have something like that, but so all 8 of us could fit in it. And I told my dad.
A little Tykes limousine.
Extended.
The little Tykes bus.
There you go. And I told him, instead of us pushing from the bottom, you could put pedals like a bike, and then we could go around the yard. And it would be so much fun. I could see it. I had never even been to the zoo to see that they made those, actually. Whatever those things are called. What are they? Cycling carts or whatever. And my dad, I could already see the wheels turning in his head. He was like, yeah, he started drawing schematics for it.
Your comment just made me think, in The Office, the comment that says that Michael Scott dreamt about unicorns before he even knew about them.
Yes.
So that's the same thing you did.
Wow. Okay. So
you invented the.
No, I have invented so many things, and
afterwards,
I find later that they were invented and it was my idea.
Stole my idea.
Seriously, but anyway, so he drew up like this whole thing, and it was a done deal. I could see it. I could already see myself in it, and that thing never even got started. Okay, and I don't know if okay, so hold on. I think I do know. I didn't know before if my dad was just, going along with it because, he didn't want to tell me, no, you can't do that, right? But he actually took time to draw things out. So I think that in his mind,
it was an intention
it
to
was
do
an
it.
intention, yes. And if he could, he would, you know. But anyway, one of the things that I remember specifically about Father's Day with my dad is that my dad would say, right, that he really, really, really wanted these, like, whatever, fill in the blank. I'm going to fill it in the blank with one specific thing that he said. He wanted these, like, work boots, okay? And all 8 of us were all trying to devise a plan. How do we get the information, right? What kind of work boots do you want? What color? What's your size? Like, all this stuff, right? And then all of us, with whatever little part-time job we had, pitch in to buy him these shoes, right? My mom was always in charge of that. She would place the order. She would do all that stuff. And without fail, every single Father's Day that we would get him what he asked for, okay? My dad would grab his gift. He would open it up and he would be like, wow, shoes for this specific one, right? Wow. And we're like, those are the shoes you wanted, Dad? Aren't those the shoes? Are they? I think the ones I wanted were Caterpillar. We're like, but you said you wanted that. And I don't even know if he kept the stuff that we gave him or if he went and exchanged it. But I remember getting tools, getting shoes, getting shirts. Like, my dad loves black and he loves button downs. So we'd always get him like the dark button downs and all stuff. And it was just like, it was always not quite what he wanted, you know, which you have a thing like that. What do you do when we give you gifts?
I shake it and I try and guess what it is.
You do?
But that's the thing my dad used to do.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So I remember for whatever it was, Christmas, birthdays, whatever, we'd give my dad a gift, or my mom would go shopping for us, I guess, right? And he always took it and he always shook it. And he always knew what it was. It's like,
your mom probably told him.
How do I guess then? It's something in our blood.
Do you go like peek in?
No. It is
never peek.
Never. It is true to God, honest.
A good guess.
Telepathy. I grab the box and it just says to me, I'm a hat.
So
I'm a shirt.
So over the years, we've had to get really creative on how we wrap things. Sometimes even wrapping the actual gift inside of another thing.
This last year was the first time you guys got me.
Yep.
You guys got me.
Yeah. So
I retired after that.
We felt very, very proud of that.
I know, and I retired.
I know. To like this morning when you got your gifts, I saw you shake it, and you tried guessing.
I tried.
Yeah, but it was kind of hard to tell. That wrapping job was.
It was. I thought the only thing I did send the kids was an apron that I wanted because it had a phrase on it that was hilarious. I can't share it because it's a little bit vulgar, but it's somewhere in the vicinity of I'll feed all you
ducks.
all
you
you duckers.
All you duckers.
Wrong first letter though. Anyways.
Wow. You don't even need to. Wow.
I know. Anyways, so it was pretty funny, and it was kind of like a little bit of a running joke with the kids. So I had sent them that, and when I go to open up the package, I see this black material that's right around the outside of a box or something, and I immediately thought that was it. So
yeah,
but it wasn't. I got a shirt that says I'd smoke that.
With a chicken, a pig, and a cow.
And a cow. Yeah.
Very nice. And your Your
Yep.
handy dandy probe
Yes, which is great because I'm literally sitting here recording our episode, and I'm able to keep an eye
on your meat.
on the meat. That's
Yes,
what
sir.
she said.
Wow. This episode needs to go with a warning or something. I don't even know what is happening today.
Anyways,
But you know, another thing is that I remember is my dad. He always liked to do things his own way. I mean, some people call that stubbornness, which my mom will tell you 1,000%. He's the most stubborn man she's ever met, right? And I don't doubt it for 1 second. But my dad always had like this thing that he would do things his way. And, you know, his way was the right way. Even if it was the wrong way, he was so convinced that it was the right way that it was just the right way, you know? And I know my poor mother, I feel like that frustrated her so much. But, you know, what do people know about living here in Florida is that the palmetto is always under
construction.
and anybody who lives here knows that, okay?
Yes. And
as long as I have been driving, it's been under construction.
And anyone who knows Popsy or Pappy or the several other names he goes by, Ketmia's dad, knows that he is always under construction.
He's always working on
He's
something.
always constructing something.
He's always working on something. I remember he always liked to work with wood. And I know he would talk about having his own like wood shop one day where he would build things. But he was always lacking like the right tools, you know? I remember when he spent a little bit of money on the drum, what is it called?
The Dremel?
Yes, you know, and the bits, and he built this like solid pantry. Remember the pantry he built for my mom?
The red one? Was it red?
No, it was a wood color one, just like an unstained wood. But remember, like he made like little grooves and like all of these little it was ornate what he did, and it was the very first time I think that he had something
That was
right that was not a saw
in the proper tool area.
Yes, you know, and I mean he built them their own bed. And bless my mom. I mean, I remember my mom saying that thing was hard as a rock. But it was like he wanted to build his own things.
Yeah, but the bed has nothing to the frame has nothing to do.
No, I
with
think
how
that
hard
she
the-
said it was like really pointy in the ends and she kept like hitting herself as she walked by or something. It was something about it being too bulky. I don't really remember, but I understand, like I get his side of it. He wanted to build things. It's something he's always wanted to do. And so now that they're in South Carolina, he gets to do that. And he's always doing something. And he's actually discovered that he is a really great what is that? Horticulture? Is that how you say it?
Horticulture.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Okay, but he is amazing at growing stuff. They just posted pictures of his haul of carrots and tomatoes and peppers and radishes. He's growing garlic. He's growing all of like the pumpkins for the season, and everything is like thriving out there, you know? And so I'm really happy like that in his retirement age, he's able to continue doing that. And I think with better tools, because like the house they live in now is new. There's no construction necessary. But what did he end up building? That
Construction
deck.
on the outside, yeah.
He built an amazing deck, which is a pretty big deal because it's like really high off the ground.
Now that I'm just thinking, did they finish wrapping it around, or there's still that one little spot that needs to be finished?
I don't think so. And I don't know that they were going to wrap it around actually, because since it's my sister's side, I'm not really sure that they meant to do that. But yeah.
Well, they were able to sell. It's kind of funny. Both our parents did similar things, one more extreme than the other, but Ketmia's parents sold their house that they lived in forever.
It's the only house they ever bought. Yeah.
They were in that house, what, 20 years?
Since I was 8. Was I 8? Yeah, since I was 8.
So more than 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were in that house for more than 20 years. They sold it and they moved to South Carolina. And
to go live off the land.
Yeah, to go live off the land. And then my parents sold their house that I never lived in because they moved into it after we had moved back up to the Miami area.
Yeah.
But well, no, they didn't sell it. They ended up just renting it out.
Right, right.
And they went and bought a little farm in Sebring. So kind of the same idea, to go live off the land in their retirement, and just enjoying it, because there's on both, one's a land and one's a farm, right? And they both got chickens and turkeys and goats. What else did they have that they have together?
Yeah, well, the turkey died.
Yeah.
So that was sad.
Premature.
Yeah.
It didn't make it to Thanksgiving.
No. Oh, no.
And my dad was finished this weekend. He was finishing off the pig pen for pigs.
Wow.
Yep.
I got to tell you, though, pigs is something I would never have.
Why?
So Nikki told me that pigs get a disease, okay, that's very common, in which the top layer of their skin detaches from the rest of their body, and you can just like flip it over. I know. We're going into the dark side.
Yeah.
That's why you gave me the cup.
Yeah. There you go. So we're gonna move on from that veterinary lesson.
Oh God! Please don't look this up, anybody. It's so gross. Ever since she told me that, I have been so grossed out. I think that's why I don't really like pork.
And we're gonna have pulled pork sandwiches.
Yes. Okay. Let's not talk about it right now.
So, anyways, like at my dad's farm, he's built all of the pens and a lot of the fence that goes around there, and all the other stuff that's.
And I think he really enjoys doing that.
He enjoys it. He loves it.
Even though it's a lot of work to maintain that.
And then your dad up there building the. I know he built the chicken coop, and he built
and he's the one expanding it,
they're clearing
and the garden.
land and opening up space.
Right.
Like that's, I don't know. I think for both of them, in their own different ways, they're retiring exactly how they wanted to.
Yeah.
Well,
and I don't know. That's one of those things where I don't know if your dad ever told you that he had dreams of moving and having a farm one day, or if it just happened to be.
I think
that there is like I'm done with the city life. You didn't ever think you were going to be done, and then you're done with it, and
the thing is, we lived in the Keys for such a long time, and then we move up to the Miami area, and for anyone who lives in Miami, you'll know it takes 45 minutes to go 5 miles. Like, you can't go to the corner without. Like, we went to Walmart this morning. It was an hour trip for like 2 things. And that can get kind of old.
Yeah.
And especially when you're getting, older in age and getting towards, that time where you want to just rest a little bit. You don't want to go out. You don't want to do all this other extra stuff. And, my parents, where they moved, they've got stuff that's close enough where it's just a quick drive. But your parents, it's a drive. It's a long drive.
They have to go into the actual city.
It's a long drive, but it's a different type of drive. You're not in traffic.
Well, and also that's true, because it's like all these old country roads and stuff. But also I think that you plan out more your outing. So you accomplish more. So like the day that you're going out, you're doing that. Rather than, here we can just, we forgot something, we're going back out again.
There's no, I forgot onion rings.
No,
Let me go back to the store.
But
you better cut some onions, and you better make your own.
What is one thing that your dad taught you how to do that is like a fond memory for you? And it can be anything at all. Anything at all.
Goodness, I don't know that you can pinpoint.
For me, see, you had a
You
story
can?
first. I can.
The thing is that to pinpoint it to one specific lesson is really difficult.
Okay, so
And-
let me go first. Maybe you get an idea of what I'm asking you. Because
Okay.
it's not really like a life lesson.
Okay.
But I am very proud of the fact that I can tie a fishing knot.
Okay.
And that's something that he taught me how to do. Because if there's any pastime that my dad enjoyed, it's fishing. Which is so surprising that he lives out in the country and he has not gone fishing.
Yeah, but fishing up there is different.
Fishing for lake trout.
You and your lake trout.
It's a Parent Trap reference. But
I
but
don't-
yeah.
it's-
So that's what we would do. Like a lot of the weekends, while other people were getting ready to go on vacation or do something else, he was taking us to the beach to go stand in the water all day long to maybe catch something. And I remember that there was a time where I threw my hook and then I yanked and I realized that I hooked myself. Okay. And I was just like terrified that I have this hook in me. And he came over and he was always so gentle. Like I remember another one of my sisters, I think it was Marisol, that she was on the swing barefoot and she tried to stop herself and her big toenail caught on a rock and she just yanked it back. Okay. And she came in bleeding, pale, all that stuff. And he was like, don't worry, I'll take care of it. And my mom was pale. My mom was like, oh my God. And he was the one who was just like, and he took care of the nail. He took the nail off. She never screamed, nothing like that. Like he just has like a gentle side to him that or I don't know if it's the abundance of patience that he has that he can just spend so much time on it. But I remember he unhooked me and he was just like,
you're fine. That's where our dads differ.
Yes.
So
yes,
my dad,
that's true.
if I were to have to put it in a word, my dad's more brute when it comes to like lessons.
Define brute. 'Cause what do you mean?
I don't know.
I feel like you need to define that word because that could mean.
So it's kind of the same way that I do things. Like, get up, just brush it off. Let's go. You're fine. Go, 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 go. Get him right back on. Get back on the horse and go. Because I remember that's
not super sensitive.
Right. There was a difference in just like, I don't know, if you got hurt, it was like get you back up and going fast so you'd forget about it. And your dad was like, no, let's go through the process. But that also comes from being in a house of 6 girls. Okay,
but that's amazing that he could adapt like that to us.
Well, you kind of do that.
I don't know that happens.
But see,
because
like for me, I like with the kids, I think I took a lot of my dad's style.
Yeah.
Just because that's kind of what I grew up with.
Yeah.
And you've tried for as long as forever to soften that up.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do because that's.
But you have.
And yeah.
I definitely think that you have. It took you a lot longer.
And the other thing too is my dad in his older age, now with grandkids, you can see that there's been an adjustment, a softening up. Yeah. But they always say that with the grandkids it's a little bit different.
Yeah, that's true.
But there's benefits to both sides of it. There's nothing that like you can't say one is better than the other because it's just different. And we actually that's the kind of a little bit of the poll that we did this week that I put up. I had put, is your dad a comedian or serious? And it was overwhelmingly comedian. It was 90% comedian, 10% serious.
Okay, so you want to hear another thing my dad invented now that you say that?
Well, hold on. Let me finish.
Oh, there's more?
Yeah, I'm not done. I was still talking. I'm standing. Listen, I'm standing for my position today. It's.
It's Father's Day. Go
Cállate
ahead.
la boca. Sit down.
You're completely allowed. Go.
Okay. No, so like so it was like overwhelmingly 90% comedian, 10% serious. But I bet you anything, after seeing that, I felt like there would be people who would put their dad into the comedian line because that's what they remember the most. They remember the comedian part of the dad, even though he was serious. Because my dad was funny. There was a lot of antics that would go on in the house that was hilarious. But for me, I remember a lot of the seriousness because there was a lot of teaching that was happening, you know? Mm-hmm. And even Mike this morning told me, he's like, I don't think I'd be able to survive if I didn't have your 101s, you know? So, I always say, life lesson number 744, and then I go into my thing.
Yeah.
But the kids didn't vote on the poll.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what they would have voted.
I don't know what they would have voted.
I think they would have voted for sure serious. Because I know that even for us, just like I'm saying us, like me and the kids, it's always stood out when you are being funny and silly because it's unlike you.
It's like a hot and cold for me? Would you say that?
A hot cold? What do you mean?
Yeah, like I'm either all the way to one side or the other.
I feel like it's more like spurts. Like all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's like you're being silly and funny and you have jokes and you're laughing and you're teasing and you're dancing and it's like, whoa, what happened? And it's gone. And you're back to serious. If you had been in the military, I think people think you've been in the military
because of that way.
Because you're so regimented. But what I was going to say, and I apologize that I interrupted you. It's just your intonation. It went down, and so it kind of like signaled the end of a sentence. And I was trying to make my way in there. But what I was going to say is that I feel like my dad invented dad jokes.
No, your dad.
There were no dad jokes when my dad was making dad jokes.
Sorry, dad jokes have been around for a lot longer than your dad. But I will say, your dad has more dad jokes than I have ever imagined a human being could have in their brain.
Okay, because he writes them. He makes his own dad jokes.
But listen, they're so bad
that
you laugh.
Him, right. But I think you laugh because you see him laughing, right? Because the jokes that he tells, it's like no one could ever laugh at that. No one gets it, but he gets it, and it's hilarious to him. And then you're watching him laugh that you have to chuckle.
Right, but you're laughing at him.
I think so.
Not the joke.
But another thing that my dad has always made me laugh with.
And we wait for them. Because when he starts, doesn't matter which one of the siblings, doesn't matter which one of the additions, like the spouses that came into the family, we all know when he starts a sentence with, "Let me tell you something I heard today," you're like, "Oh boy, here we go."
And he says it to you like he's going to tell you a real story.
He's going to tell you.
He's very, very serious.
Listen, I'm very serious. I've got something that I need to tell you. It's important.
But there's a twinkle in his eye that you know it's a joke what he's going to tell you.
And we just sit there and we're like, "Oh boy."
What's your story, Pappy?
Say your story. Here we go. Ready? And then
no, this is my favorite.
And then you wait for the punchline, and he's like, "Well, that was the punchline."
That's it.
And you're like, "What?" And then he starts his chuckle.
Laughing. Yes.
And you have no choice but to laugh.
But that another one that he does is when everyone's talking about a movie, and then he's like, right now, right? Hey, have you guys watched Quiet Place 2? Which, by the way, if anyone liked Quiet Place 1, go watch. Do yourself a favor. Give yourself a treat and go watch Quiet Place 2. Sequels are not normally amazing, but this one may be better than the original. Okay. And if I'm saying, hey, has anyone watched Quiet Place 2? He'll be like, no. But have you watched The Silent Place?
The Place of Silence?
The Place of Silence. Have you seen The Place of Silence? And you know that he's making this up, but he says it to you like it's real. And the thing is that that's like one thing, like, I don't know if I would call that a quirk, right? But he has like this thing where he likes watching movies that do not make sense. Like yesterday, right? So we're taking a flight in a month or so, right, to Texas, and we were looking at like the onboard entertainment and the movies that pop up on this onboard entertainment. I mean, it's like I thought they're like parodies or something. These are not real movies. I've never heard of them. They don't have anybody you know. The movies look terrible. Terrible. But these are the kind of movies my dad would watch.
And would enjoy.
And he would enjoy it, and he would have something to tell you about that. Which is funny because in a way, it makes me think about our friend Paul, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how he loves exploring movies that maybe the average person would not sit down to watch, because he's looking at it more like philosophically, I guess, right? And trying like to see like the underlining story and like what's going on with these characters, and it's always very exciting. That's the word our family likes to use, exciting. When we watch movies with other people who are very, very passionate about them, because it's interesting to see how someone else interprets a movie, right? Like I'm like lower level. Just entertain me. Just entertain me. That's all I want. Okay.
Well, you love disaster movies.
That's true. And maybe I get that from my dad a little bit. Well, I'm going to say this last story about movies with my dad, and that's it. But there was a movie that my dad rented, and he rented a lot of really weird stuff. Okay. The Basket with the Hole. Like, who's going to watch that? Right? It's about a basket that you pour water in and it leaks.
That was the name of the movie?
No, I'm making that up.
Oh, I was about
to say. But
you
believed me. But it was about, oh man, and I found this. I'll find this so you can post it for the chat, okay? But it was about a scientist who accidentally made himself like the size of an eraser, okay? Super small. And
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
No, but I think they may have gotten the idea from there. It's black and white, okay? And the whole entire movie, he's trying to signal to his wife, I'm here, because she thinks he's disappeared. Then she kind of starts like this little romance with his best friend, okay? Which all the while he's like, no, I'm not dead. And they're like, well, he's dead. I guess you shouldn't be alone, honey. Okay. And well, to me, the movie was like classic old style horror, right? I was horrified watching this movie because he ended up living in a dollhouse because it was the only place where he could have a bed and have shelter in this terrible world of like everything is giant now. There's this spider throughout the movie that is chasing him, trying to eat him because he's so tiny, and the spider, which is like a daddy long leg, but it's really like a tarantula, right? That's chasing him everywhere. There's a cat that's trying to eat him. He almost drowns in Cheerios and uses a Cheerio as a floaty.
That is Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. Except
we have to look and see if they got this idea. Like, is it a remake?
There's a Cheerio scene. There's
and
a
guess
cat
where the movie's
scene.
Available on Amazon for free to watch. Do you want to watch it?
That old one?
Yes.
Oh God.
I've always wanted to see it, to see if it's as amazing as I remember it being. I feel like that's the only movie my dad ever rented that I was like, that was such a good movie. I was like scared after, but everything else was just so out there and so weird. But, he would go to Blockbuster and he would rent 3 movies. They were all his movies, right? That we would all watch, but it was something. Especially not having TV. Like, we get to go to Blockbuster and rent a movie. Hey, Dad, look, this movie Braveheart just came out. It looks really good. No, let's get Heart of the Brave.
Oh, that's what we should watch. We were going to watch Untouchables today,
Okay,
but now
okay.
you said Braveheart.
Okay, can I just say, this entire weekend, I feel like I have been in the middle of a sentence talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Something super deep or sweet or romantic
Kinda-
or serious.
Kind of like what you just did to
And
me.
you just are like, and I'm like, yes, he's reacting to what I'm saying. And you're like, you know what I
Squirrel.
just thought about?
Squirrel.
And you judge me.
Listen.
How dare you? What do they say? Don't throw rocks in glass houses.
Let me tell you something. I don't know. It's like you've been enlightened this weekend, but that's the way you are. The fact that you're thinking
I know, but
the
that's
fact that
me.
you're-
There's only room in our family for one person to be like me.
the fact that you're thinking cohesively this weekend is not my problem.
Rude. Oh my goodness.
Oh boy. Anyways.
Any final words for your father?
Oh my goodness. It's so cool to see how so much of our dads have infiltrated the way that we are currently.
Impacted?
Yeah, because I'm 40 years old. I mean, it's 40 years of getting lessons from dad, and then 21
Well, just
years
the fact that we
of-
had our dads present is a
Yeah.
huge deal.
and then to be able to hear that back from our kids, I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Like that to me is the coolest thing. And I don't know if my dad will think about it the same way like I would, but like to me the fact that like Mike told me that he would be completely lost without my 101s, I would be completely lost without my dad's 101s. Cuz that was the thing with my dad. My dad was always constantly teaching. And even to this day, I'm still 40 years old, and when I talk to him or we're doing something or whatever, he was always teaching something. There was a lesson that was behind it. So I think that's why I would have put my dad down as serious. Because of that, even though my dad was funny. And there's videos and there's all kinds of stuff where my dad is in his funny stages, but I remember the serious part because
And serious doesn't mean bad.
It's not bad. I'm just saying
You
it was
know.
always I'm trying to
Yeah.
teach. So
And on the flip side, I feel like my dad could have been more serious. But he was always like the best friend kind of deal, and everything my mom would say we couldn't do, he said we could do. Stuff like that, which of course made him the fun dad.
I saw a meme. There was a picture. It was for Father's Day and stuff, and it was, obviously we love The Office, so that happens quite a bit. You know the picture where they have where Michael Scott is shaking hands with Ed Truck,
Yes.
right? Well, they added a little. They added Pam in the background, like looking over, and it says. Getting a yes from your dad when mom already said no.
And that was actually a thing, okay? That in my house anyway, it was a rule. You cannot go ask the other parent if you were already told by one parent you couldn't do something, okay? Now, while my other siblings were not as smart as I was, okay, I quickly learned, don't ask mom, go ask dad, okay? And if I asked him and he said yes, my mom could not go back on what my dad said. So I think it's horrible because then you're kind of playing your parents against each other.
Hey, you got to learn how to do it.
I
learned how to do it.
So
Listen, I knew that my sisters could take a whole big brunt away from me, and I just laid back and made sure I was far enough in the corner that I would not be bothered.
So like you got life lessons from your dad about, how to do stuff mostly, right? I feel like my dad taught me how to think and question things more, I already was very curious by nature, but he always challenged everything that I said. And not in a way that he was disagreeing with me, but why do you think that? And why do you want to do that? So I think that the me thinking things before I say things out loud, or how you said yesterday that I play different scenarios in my mind before one scenario comes out, it's just part of that in our long conversations he taught me how to do that. Not even to mention that I probably know more names of tools and things than I do kitchen utensils. But those are I don't know. There's just so many things that I can think with my dad that were fun. And one thing that I got to experience that none of my other siblings got was that I got a special day with him, right? Where it was my birthday and he took me out, just me and him. We went to the Miami Aquarium. And all I remember about that day is that I saw Lolita, which I think she's dead. Okay. Is she?
I think so.
I think she's dead. He bought me an inflatable dolphin, and he took me to the beach.
Is that the picture that we had in the kitchen for a little while?
Okay. And it's the only thing.
Do you know where it's at?
Yes, I do.
I'm going to post it.
Okay. And it's the only thing that I got to do alone with him, which I think was like, how did he even afford that? You've got 8 kids to feed. You're the only one who's providing for the house. Like, the fact that he took me there, and I don't even know how long we were there, but to me it's always been like this monumental thing that we got to do together, just the two of us. And Mike today, when we were talking to him, he mentioned, kind of switching a little bit, how he is never going to do to his kids what we did to him every time that we would go to theme parks or cruises or something like that, which is that we get up 7:00 in the morning. You got to be ready to go. We got to get breakfast and we're going, because we're going to do everything at the theme parks. Okay. And we want to I don't know that we want to get our money's worth, but we're trying to we just drove 4 hours to get here. We just paid a heck of a lot of money to get into Disney World. We are going to do everything. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And that's something that, thank God, you and I agree on that. But it was funny that he brought that up, that he was like, no, with my kids, it's going to be relaxing. We're going to go whenever. And it made me think about how that was exactly the attitude my dad had, where we show up when we show up. He would tell us, tomorrow morning, we're going to the beach. We're going to the beach. Where is Vero Beach? How far is that? Or
like
Jupiter?
2.5 hours.
Okay. To us, that was a trip. Okay. And he said, get up early. We're leaving at 6:00 in the morning. Okay. Sandwiches. Make sure you get beach towels, everything, fishing gear, get everything ready. Do you know what time we would actually be heading out? More like 9:30. 9:30, my dad's having his cup of coffee. It's like, nothing is a hurry with my dad. Nothing was ever in a hurry. And I was telling Mike, I'm so sorry that we've done that to you, but I feel like it's coming from a place where I feel like I wanted to do more, and my dad was just kind of on his own time. And so now I'm living my childhood as an adult. We've got to do everything, because I didn't get to do everything before. But everything we got to do with my dad was quality. So even if we didn't get, huge amounts, it was good.
And then you got the other side, where we've been able to be, well, I guess I'll speak for myself, but I've heard from other boys and men now that have said that they've found value in, even though I'm not their dad, being a part of it. And I know that there are listeners out there who didn't have dad. We kind of started talking about that a little bit, where, just having dad around for us was
Monumental.
Leaps and bounds already ahead of so many that don't have that. And, all I hope is that there was somebody who would be in their life that would take that space, even if it's later on, so that when they get the opportunity to be dad, they don't they don't miss out on that chance to be that impactful.
And I think that's amazing because I've watched you with these boys, these boys that have hung around our house, our lives, because either they were Mike's friends or, they just happened to come into our lives for whatever reason. And I've watched you step into that role of, a father figure, which is really cool to see the fruits of it now, with them being men now. And there's a lot of things that they didn't know that you taught them, so.
Yep. It's awesome. Awesome to be a part of that. Yep. So anyways, I got to go look at the meat.
Yep.
Because it's about to ring any second. So instead of getting that loud ring in here, let's wrap this up. So yes. For all the dads out there, happy Father's Day. And from us, this wraps up barely anything of stories for Dad. We just started talking about it.
And so much to tell.
It's just so much you can't even pinpoint it. So thank you guys so much for continuing to come back and listen to us every single week.
And for all the people who participate on the polls, that's good too.
For sure.
It's nice to hear that.
And next week it'll be an episode about words. I guess we're gonna have to keep to that because we just keep on bringing up definitions and questions on words. So we'll do that. I think that'll be fun. So we'll see where that goes.
We'll see where that goes. Where that trail ends.
That will be interesting. Anyways, that's it. You got anything else?
Nothing. Happy Father's Day.
Alrighty. Bye, guys.